found in the catacombs in
Archaeologists find proof of...
This timeline really did them in.
Can we expose the real reason why dinosaurs are not...
People that go to like Skinwalker Ranch, after they leave, whatever creepy thing that there is, it seems to just like follow them.
Imprint or something like that.
Yeah. Jake Barber, the whistleblower who was part of the retrieval program, he's like, oh yeah, that's happened to me, but it's a good thing that's followed us. And he's like, in fact, we call it the angel that appears above their house quite often. It's like this blue orb-like thing, but he says it clearly looks like it has wings.
Yeah.
And Jesse Michael's like, that sounds a lot like the seraphim from scripture. He's like, it just seems to be over our house constantly. When my son sees it, he starts like crying out of like joy and just like, this is here to protect us.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, dude, that,
I don't know
what do you
about
mean?
that.
He was even saying like, anyone can do it. Just go outside and just pray to see something. And that's a very common thing. People like connecting consciousness to whatever is out there.
Yeah.
Fallen angels, demons, whatever they are. We really don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing.
Don't forget Lucifer masquerades as an angel of light. So
I was thinking the same thing. This started off with SWs and then went into, hey, are we being tricked by a potential Luciferian type being? Hey, we don't know, but I'm going to stay away from SWs because that's just a whole can of worms I don't want to open, just like all the other paranormal stuff. Welcome back, goons. You're watching Explore the Weird. Hey, I got some more creepy, weird, strange For You page content. Let's get right into it.
Yeah, let's go to the mountain. Yeah.
There's a rich person's Craigslist, and it's a little cringe. Want to make fun of it? So it's called the James Edition, and they got that name by plugging in pretentious marketplace to ChatGPT, and boom, here we are. It looks normal at first until you get to the categories, which include cars. It's like, I could drive a car, and then it goes yachts and jets, and the yacht's gotta be my favorite. This is an $8.7 million yacht called the Mazu 92 DS. The only DS I've ever owned, and probably ever will, is this. My favorite part about this is in the second sentence is this yacht is made for a discerning owner. Oh, well, thank goodness that's me. I don't just buy my yachts willy-nilly. Also, it's designed specifically for the client's needs. Can we agree that none of this is needs? It's not like water, air, yacht. Apparently, because it's made for North Americans, it comes with a country kitchen. Oh yeah, that's what I think when I see this. You know, my grandparents lived out on a farm, and every time I see this, I think, oh, grandma. And you and I might be sad that we're never gonna own one of these or be allowed within 300 feet of one. However, don't be. Because Mother Nature has a way of taking care of this. Just ask the orca.
Wait, what? The orcas sank yachts? Orcas sink yachts too? Man, they're like everywhere. Orcas are killing the whales. They're teaming up in order to prevent all kinds of sharks and stuff. Man, orcas be crazy. Orcas be crazy. But at the same time, do you guys know any yacht owners? How big of a yacht have you been on? I've been on 0 yachts. I've been on lots of cruises though.
We live in a simulation and I can easily prove it for you. How can you guys see all of my head movements even though I have this huge towel between me and the mirror?
I don't know, and it just light reflecting?
It is light reflecting. It's light reflecting off a reality that you guys behind the camera and you are creating because it's being viewed. If you guys were not there to view it just like a simulation, it would save resources and it would not generate that reflection. It goes to the double slit theory. It's the same thing. Let me show you. In this video, it will explain the double slit theory, where light and reality change based on whether or not it's being viewed.
Beams of light particles called photons at a screen with 2 slits. You'd expect to see 2 strips to correspond with the 2 slits. Instead, we see a pattern of light and dark bands. This suggests that light behaves like waves that pass through both slits simultaneously, interfering with each other to create the pattern on the second screen. However, when scientists used a measuring device to observe the slit that each photon passed through, the interference pattern disappeared and 2 strips appeared. The act of observing which slit it went through changed the behavior of the photons. No one knows why observing a particle causes its behavior to change.
Now that is exactly what happened in that bathroom. Because it was being recorded and also my wife was watching it, reality changed to where you guys were able to see both sides of the towel. Now that 100% proves that we live in a simulation. Now that doesn't mean that there's not a God. That means that God is the programmer.
Wait, but the double slit experiment, they were able to see both sides. They saw when observed and when not observed. So shouldn't we be able to also look at the mirror unobserved and have some kind of proof? Like, we just take your word for it? Trust me, bro. I know you weren't there to observe it, but I know. I believe you, bro. I believe you because, double slit makes 100% sense. But at the same time, it is mirror magic. Mirrors do all kinds of crazy things. Mirrors are even used in illusions to make it seem like an object is there when it's not there, and it's in fact just underneath or upside down or behind the thing, and it makes it look like it's right in front of you when it's not actually there. But at the same time, was the object there when it wasn't observed? Yeah, I have many questions, but I have seen this explained. As like, hey, the way the light hits, the way we view it, that's why the mirror always knows, because it's perspective. I've heard it all. What do you guys feel? Do you think, hey, if it wasn't observed, nothing would happen? I also feel that way.
Did archaeologists find proof of time travel when they opened up an ancient Chinese tomb? Watch this and see for yourself, Bushkis.
Within a sealed tomb in Shaanxi, China, which had not been opened for over 400 years, they found a small yet unmistakably modern artifact, a tiny gold watch. This watch, no larger than a ring, was intricately carved with the word Swiss on its back. Given that the tomb dated back to the Ming Dynasty, it was a baffling discovery. How could a piece of 1940s design end up in a tomb that had been undisturbed for 4 centuries?
Could they have had watches 400 years ago? Well, the first ring watch wasn't invented till 1750. And this thing, found in the tomb, was definitely a Swiss ring watch. And I'm pretty sure this guy wasn't wearing it. So the only possibility is a time traveler left it behind. Swiss time travelers going to China. You never know. Shavadu Bushkis, Shavadu.
Man, they had us strict with time even back then. Oh, man, they're just making all kinds of things. This is how we track it. I had seen this. I actually didn't hear about the Swiss encryption in the back. Is that just made up or is that real? It does appear to look like a watch. I look at it and I go, this is 100% watch. Oh, boy. Time travelers or past generation that once also reinvented time that was once again rediscovered like it always is, and then reimagined, and then we get tricked and we have all these false sense of times. Hey, October's not really the 10th month. Gotta wake up. It's the 8th month.
Mandela effects that upset me the most. This timeline really did the Monopoly man dirty because they took away his monocle. I'd give anything for a box of Cheez-Its, but since they don't exist, I'll settle for the real deal, which is a box of Cheez-It. Smokey the Bear wants to keep the world from burning down. Wrong, his name's actually Smokey Bear. Luke, I am your father. Wrong. It's no, I am your father. I love Febreze as much as the next gal, but if you want to be in this timeline, you have to take out one of the E's. I know what a cornucopia is because when I was younger, I was shopping with my mom at JCPenney and I asked her what was on the Fruit of the Loom logo and she said it was a cornucopia, and I'm so grateful for my incredible imagination for making up the cornucopia that has never existed in the Fruit of the Loom logo. I've always loved the Laughing Cow's nose ring until I found out it doesn't exist. Another style I truly admired was that of the Raisin Bran sun, especially the sunglasses, which I apparently made up. I love Jiffy peanut butter, even though the company is trying to gaslight me into believing that it's always been called Jif. Iconic, iconic, iconic. Too bad the microphone was never a part of the iconic. Loved when Curious George would swing around from his tail, except for that he never had one. That's okay, because Mickey Mouse has had a tail all along. What he never had, however, was suspenders, which is odd since I have memories of him snapping them while driving the boat.
I do not remember Mickey having suspenders, but I guess some people do. What was it? I think Goofy had suspenders, though. I also didn't realize Raisin Bran in our current timeline doesn't have sunglasses anymore. What happened to the sun? The sun need the sunglasses. That's why come on now. I come from Berenstein Bears, but I will tell you where the timeline I come from, the Curious George never had a tail. So I'm not sure if Berenstein and Curious George happened in the same timeline, but in this new timeline, Curious George still doesn't have a tail, so I feel like that still stayed the same for me. But Berenstein definitely changed. It's not Berenstein in this timeline. It's all wrong.
Manifestation doesn't work because you're doing it from your ego. If you're doing it from your ego, you're doing it from your survival self, and you're trying to get out of survival mode by being your survival self. I have nothing against manifestation, but I have realized that if you are stuck in the illusion of, I can attract anything that I want, oh my god, law of attraction, You are literally taking in more work than you're supposed to. When someone is in a survival place, they're going to try to control the circumstances, how things happen, when they happen. Is it the right time to happen? Is it controlled? Can I control this circumstance? Can I control when I pay my bills? Can I control when I receive my pay? Survival, survival, survival. Because not being in survival, bitch, you don't always know how it shows up. But you have this divine inner guidance just guiding you, and you follow it. You follow it with this trust. You surrender and you're like, I'm good, I'm chilling. That's the hardest thing to do for a survival being. Stop surviving. How am I supposed to stop? I need to survive. The second that you realize that you are safe, that's when the shit comes. So no, it's not because manifestation doesn't work. It's because you don't feel safe to receive, because your entire life you have been taught to survive and go out there and make it happen yourself. But you're taking in more work than you're supposed to, because God is literally there like, holy shit, man. She's really putting in more work than she's supposed to. Like, I can just give her everything she wants, but she's making it so fucking complicated. It was never about doing more, achieving more, hustling more. It was about doing less, slowing down, and letting go of everything that is not the real you, that you have been trained that you need to embody to survive, to be loved, to be accepted, to be worthy in this physical reality, for validation, for love, for praise, for safety. And when you realize that you are the only being that can offer that to yourself, it's not about mom and dad anymore. It's not about all of the people who bullied you or called you whatever the fuck. The only person who can heal your wounds is you. The only person who can go back, revisit those past versions of yourself that are still sitting in your nervous system, that are still attracting the same circumstances into your life over and over again, is you. It's just you. So by trying to manifest all of these things and manifest a different life, you're putting so much pressure on yourself as if you're the one in charge, and you're not. God has unlimited resources. God has unlimited ways to bring things to you. But if you keep clinging on to being a control freak stuck in survival mode, shit, you're blocking it off. You're blocking off the flow. You're not allowing yourself to receive. The hardest thing for human beings to do is receive. I promise you. Your entire life you were taught that you need to give more. You need to bring flowers and chocolates to this person so they love you more. You need to do so many things so that people love you. Stop giving. It's not about being selfish. It's not about being a fucking asshole. It is about loving yourself and realizing that the more you give yourself, the more you will have to give to others. And I know it sounds like goo goo gaga bullshit. It's not. I love that this is what I think about on a daily basis. It's literally nothing else goes on in my brain.
If this is all you're thinking about in your brain, then you are incoherently manifesting these things. Stop thinking about the things. Hey, lady, you don't even follow what you say. I've seen other videos where you tell us to start doing the manifestings, and then you tell us like, hey, everyone's spiraling and you need to come take my course. And now you tell us, hey, just work on yourself. I've been saying that since I don't even need to take your course, and I was able to see through this. Hey, work on yourself, love yourself, be as selfish as you want, because it all starts with you. No one else is going to help your self-being. No one else is going to help your mental state. No one else is going to help your physical pain. Hey, they don't have anything but things to prescribe. You are the person that can work on yourself and get out of anything that you are suffering through, and find the things that you want, and find those interactions, find those beings that are helping you. Sometimes it is your family. Sometimes it is your mom and dad. Don't write anyone out. Do all the interactions. Wait, what? Do all the interactions. Hey, you're a goon. Do all the interactions. But at the same time, be selfish and work on yourself. Hey, manifestation can happen. You can attract anything, but you need to be happy with yourself. You need to accept yourself for what you are. You need to understand the situation that you're in, and it all starts with you. And once that's done, you'll see everything else falls into place. It works for me. It works for others. Hey, I don't know if it worked for this girl. Hey, talking about them interactions. Hey, goons. It's that time. Teddy, what time is it? It's that time, interaction time. I need your interaction. Please, we're looking for them other goons. You know you gotta do the things. Check. Did you interact? Why not? What did I do? What will make you interact? Let me know as well. Haha, you gotta interact no matter what. Please, we need it. Thank you. Love you.
If you are a loving grandparent and your estranged adult kids refuse to allow you to see your grandkids,
shoot, that must be so hard. A whole Christmas without seeing your family.
Then you find out that those kids are going to be in a Christmas concert and you're local. Don't not show up.
If your kids have asked you not to show up and be around your grandkids, and you find out randomly that they're going to be in some holiday show that you were not invited to, do not show up. That right there shows that you cannot maintain boundaries. Whether you agree with them or not, they're not your boundaries to agree with or not. And if you get caught doing that type of behavior enough, you can actually have a restraining order put on you. So if you want any sort of relationship with your children and your grandchildren, do not follow this advice.
Sit in the back if you have to, but take in the joy that comes from watching them perform. You deserve it.
Oh, you deserve it? You deserve it? So it's not about anybody but you, which is probably why your kids have this problem with you in the first place and why you're estranged. This is the perfect example of like, tell me you're a shit parent without telling me you're a shit parent. Which, by the way, as if we all don't know already that this is your fault. Oh, your kid's estranged from you? What did you do? Because 99.9% of the time, it is the parent's fault. But what do you think?
You know what? I have heard this over and over again. It's not the kid's fault. It's always the parent's fault. It's always the parent's fault. Sure. At the same time, every situation is different. There are family situations where your own biological daughters or sons may not want their parents to attend their events because they had a falling out, something happened. It's all that situation that we don't know about. Not sure what is causing this lady to get banned from going to her own grandkids' show, but it is sad. It is sad that these situations arise. We don't know if the situation between them, but if this ever occurred, I'm kind of with the lady though. I'm like, yo, no one can stop me. I'm gonna go watch the thing. You can't tell me what I can and can't do. Man, I made you. Why are you putting restrictions on me? Oh boy, no.
How did the settlers of Easter Island move the legendary Moai statues? Their own legends claim they used magic, chanting to make the statues walk, which is low-key sounding like a better explanation than what modern science has. Estimated between 400 to 700 AD, the first settlers arrived on this tiny island called Rapa Nui, until a European Dutchman arrived on the island on his rickety-ass ship. This Dutchman landed on Rapa Nui in 1722 on Easter Day and hence called it Easter Island. Real creative, guys. Rapa Nui sounds way better, I'ma just call it that. According to local legend, Rapa Nui was discovered on an expedition by a man named Hotumatua from a land called Hiva, thought to be Nuku Hiva in modern-day French Polynesia, which by the way is about 3,600 kilometers away, using nothing but wood canoes and knowledge of the stars, no instruments, traveling for weeks on end to find a tiny island with no known motivation for the journey. Not saying it's impossible, just a lot of historians agree it's a bit of a stretch, so take it up with them. And yes, I understand, Polynesians were incredible seafaring navigators, just the same as Egyptians were likely amazing architects. Remember, these are just theories that inspire us to think differently from the mainstream narrative, so if you can't handle them, you should have scrolled. The story goes, Hotumatua landed on the island with his team and started settling in, when all of a sudden, he realized he forgot to bring a Moai statue, the name given to the famous statue heads, from his homeland of Hiva where these statues were made to this new island. Another red flag, because present-day Nuku Hiva literally only has one Moai statue on it, so where did they all go? Hotumatua sent 6 of his men to go back home and bring back the statue by canoe. While loading the statue, the men accidentally broke it into 2 pieces. Oops. Now Hotu had a vision of this accident and he started tweaking, so he went to the beach and waited for the 6 men to come back and found the head of the statue washed ashore. From thousands of kilometers away. The 6 men were never to be seen again. Their legend claims that the statue had arrived there through magical levitation powers and served as a model to build all other Moai statues on the island. Overall, they made a total of 887 of these statues that surround the entire island, using compressed volcanic ash from the island's volcano Rano Raraku. Now, the big question is, how the flip did they move these things in place? Modern science claims methods used such as walking, tying ropes to the statue's head and swinging it side to side, as well as rolling them on logs of wood could have worked. And they do. We've proven them many times with experiments all around the world. Just one problem. The heaviest Moai statue we've been able to move in these experiments was 10 tons. But Rapa Nui, the original name given to Easter Island, has Moais that are up to 86 tons, almost 9 times what we've been able to replicate, as well as an unfinished one that was supposed to be around 270 tons. Not to mention, in 2012, an excavation project revealed that these statues have full-ass bodies underneath them, and only 3/8 of them are sticking above the ground. So how did they move them? Why did they bury them so deep? We out here struggling to figure out how they did it. Meanwhile, the Rapa Nui people themselves are saying, hey bro, we used magic. An explanation that is seen repeated among the myths of almost every other ancient structure around the world, such as the Mayan and Egyptian pyramids. Given the Rapa Nui techniques as we currently explain them, it would have taken them over a year to carve a single Moai, not to mention actually moving them on top of farming, building homes, and regular day-to-day survival tasks of their reported population of around 3,000 people. Some historians claim it would have taken them way longer than the alleged 1,000 or so years to make 900 of these things. More on that, the name that Rapa Nui gave these statues was Aringa Ora Ata Tepuna, roughly translating to the living faces of our holy ancestors, which almost sounds like they were trying to hint at being descendants of some previous civilization. Now, I'm not saying at all that the Rapa Nui people didn't do any of this. In fact, I agree with them. Their myths almost make more sense than our modern explanations. Traveling nearly 4,000 kilometers by sea with no known motivation, finding a tiny island like a needle in a haystack in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, carving and moving nearly 900 Moai statues, some of which weigh up to 90 tons, using nothing but wooden canoes, knowledge of the stars, ropes, logs, and stone tools is questionable to say the least. Accepting our current explanations of ancient history as the end-all and be-all ultimate 100% truth of what actually happened, and if you question it you should be cancelled and exiled from society, is a very close-minded way of thinking. What I'm saying is, what if ancient Polynesians were even smarter than we thought, and had technology far more advanced than we could have ever imagined? And Easter Island, Hiva, and the surrounding Pacific Islands were once part of a greater civilization with these advanced technologies that allowed them to achieve these amazing feats, that maybe got washed away by some global cataclysm, leaving behind only tiny islands sprawled throughout the Pacific, which they continue to defiantly explore. I talk about this 8th lost continent of Mu that could explain this in a previous video that got a lot of people mad. And again, I'm not saying any of this is true, it's just a crackpot what if theory, so tear my ass up in the comments.
Wait, so what? Mu would be like the Atlantis of its times? This is the continent that just like disappeared, got lost in the water? Man, it kind of makes sense with these Easter Island statues, like as in like if there was a global event or a mud flood that happened and that's why they were all covered up back in the day. But that mud flood was like much closer to our times. Like these statues are way older, I feel. You know, they do say they have the thing and the first statue levitated over there. Maybe there is some truth to it. You don't know. We're going to get those goon time machines and we're going to find out. Man, if I could go there and figure out, like, were they used in some sort of ritualistic purposes, or were they, you know, deity that they saw or something, you know? It could have been a previous generation. There's definitely no faces that look like that. You stop it.
Why is nobody questioning why Bob Ross has an afro and he's white? Has anybody ever seen him with straight hair?
First of all, that was a happy little tree he had atop his head. Second of all, what God did to you and LeBron's hairline is diabolical work. Out here trying to race bait, which I fully endorse. They call me a bit of a race baiter myself. But the difference is that I know the difference between a perm and an afro. My sister in leave-in conditioner, that's a perm. But I wouldn't expect somebody whose edges get laid as much as she does to understand that. This is the product I recommend. You're welcome. You see, he got the perm before he got famous because he didn't have money. He was trying to save money on his hair care. Right? But then he got famous and everybody knew him for the perm, so he could never change it. By the time he died, he hated it. I can't wait for your next video where you call out Steve Irwin for appropriating the Jerry curl. Or perhaps JFK for appropriating the MLK. That joke there's a thinker. They're not, anymore, anyway. Alright, I'm gonna leave you alone now. Not because I want to. I have a golf tournament. Alright, so get fucked, cunt. Hit it with the RT. Merch links in bio. Whoop.
Oh my god. Oh my god. This is, you know what's crazy? My hair can also turn into an afro. It gets so dry that I can just like stick it up. I can do whatever I need to with it. It's crazy. See right there. So I can just like, dude, my hair is crazy. My hair is crazy. But regardless, this is not race related. Anyone's hair can be an afro. Even like my one of my Jewish friends has really like a crazy afro look that he can get if his hair gets long. Wait, so was Bob Ross like it was a perm? It wasn't really an afro? I don't know too much about hair. I don't even know what a perm is, but interesting. I always thought he painted very well.
The strangest thing was found in the catacombs in Paris. People still don't know what the even this was. So this happened in 2004 in the catacombs. And for the people that don't really know too much about the catacombs, bro, it's like 174 miles of tunnels and caves all under Paris, pretty much. Apparently, I think since 1955, they have banned any tourists or anybody from going down there without a tour guide. And this one day, police were doing like this training exercise down there for some reason. And they ended up noticing that there was like these motion censored cameras that were like following them as they were going down and deeper in the catacombs.
Yeah, bro,
so
I think I've seen some like this.
Yeah, bro. So they were like, what the even is this? So the deeper they go, bro, they ended up literally going, and dude, you're not gonna believe this, they found a movie theater pretty much set up.
I seen this,
in the
bro.
catacombs that they set up down there with the wiring and everything, bro. They set up all of this type of stuff. They even went as far as to say, bro, there was a bar down there. There was even a restaurant with dining tables and everything. So they ended up pretty much leaving to go get reinforcements, and they also wanted to go and get people that were
experts with like wiring,
and electricians and shit like that. So they go and bring those people, and when they get down there, all of this stuff is gone. Every single piece.
The movie theater, everything.
All the movie theater, the tables, the this, the that, the wiring that they set up professionally, all of it is gone as if they were never there. Even the motion sensor cameras are gone 3 days later. And the only thing they found was a note, and it just wrote, "Don't try to find us."
Really?
Straight up. That's what it said, yeah. And they, to this day, they don't know what the that was. So I don't know, bro.
That's gotta be some Illuminati shit, and they're like watching crazy
dude.
Yo, 100%, you weren't supposed to come across that, and now that you've seen it, they may try to silence you, so just don't go back. I ain't gonna investigate that. I know exactly what happens to the people that go into the tunnels.
This is exactly how sound works. It's a broken bus window, but if you watch carefully, it'll unlock the secrets of sound. Sound travels in waves. Everybody knows this. The waveform you see, like the one on SoundCloud, is telling the speaker how much to move, and it creates a wave. Smaller it moves, smaller sound. Bigger it moves, louder sound. Harmonic sounds fit inside each other. Noise is everywhere. In a guitar or piano, the lowest note is the longest string. Plucking a middle C will make that string oscillate one time. The next C rotates twice in the same distance. That's a harmonic. Doubling these creates octaves. Nigel here is showing us how harmonics fit inside of each other. There's also a really cool art piece that showcases this. Right now you can think of the string as noise. The length of that string and how fast it's spinning then form a fifth order harmonic. Water is even better at explaining this. If you levitate a water droplet in an acoustic field, that first order harmonic is formed with the resonance of the molecules in the water. If the water droplet is suspended, we can turn up the frequency and watch the motion freely. The water droplet then starts to oscillate like the string does. This is a second order harmonic. It's a stable oscillation that forms a geometry. If you turn the frequency up higher, you start to get higher order harmonics. This one would be the third order harmonic. If we take all the harmonic frequencies that make up a sine wave down to infinity, when you play it, the waves average out into a square wave. It's called a Fourier series in mathematics. But this simulation isn't really realistic. What happens with sound in a speaker is that it's internal. All of that math is contained in a bubble when it comes out of the speaker. The simulation of this pattern looks exactly like the cymatic pattern that it creates. You're literally listening to math. When the wave comes out of the speaker, it spirals out in a bubble, so cymatics actually look like that. You know how to tune these very well, like my friend Jacob, then you can create some insane patterns. If you look closely here, the golden ratio dictates harmony. You can pick any one of those notes, and if you put it on this spiral, you can calculate any harmonic for that sound to infinity. All you have to do is line up the shape of the harmonic, and you get the notes. But if you have my book, then you already know this, because on page 17, I explain all of this. Right after the geometry section where I tell you how all of this helps you in reality. I just got my hardcover, by the way, so apologies for the delay if anyone was waiting on that. If you love this stuff, all of my books are on Amazon. Digital version is in the link in my bio as well. Having a huge Valentine's sale right now. This is the cheapest they'll ever be. I have 2 new ones coming out.
Man, that is crazy. That is crazy. I do like the cymatics guy, so if you guys want to check out his book, I would say he definitely knows some things. Check out his work. Interesting. Man, I've never seen water levitate like that. It definitely seems like a plasmoid type being. Is that what the plasmoids in the sky are? Is that what they're basically doing? They're all being sound energy somehow? I have many theories. I'm just trying to figure it out. Are there still drones in the sky where you are? I have questions. I'm just trying to figure it out.
I don't know who. In 2020, virus hits, let's print money. And who did we hit up to advise us on that decision? We hit up BlackRock, the Federal Reserve, taking advice from them to enact, again, quantitative easing. And only a month after consulting with the Federal Reserve, they would also drop their rates historically for the very first time to 0%, making borrowing money so insanely cheap. And that got me thinking, if a company's sole goal is to make money for its investors by holding assets, hoping those assets will grow in value over time, and I happen to know certain laws about macroeconomics, such as one that Richard Cantillon brought up, that if money is added, then assets grow in value, you'll see that it's gained value over the last 20 years pretty consistently, but there's 2 years specifically that had the largest jumps, 2008 to 2009, in 2020 to 2021. So the same man who's consulting our Federal Reserve on how much money we should print, i.e. how much the dollar will inflate, is the same man whose company directly benefits from the dollar inflating. The very thing that makes everything so expensive today is making BlackRock and Larry Fink richer than ever before. So did this socioeconomic money pirate just come out of thin air? No, he founded BlackRock in 1988 with a 50-50 investment between him and a company named Blackstone. Blackstone was founded in 1985, and Larry Fink would be on the board for Blackstone before receiving that investment to go create BlackRock, and that partnership was authorized by the owner of Blackstone, Peter G. Peterson. And in April of 1971, he would produce the report that would show that we needed to remove ourselves from the gold standard, that would make money printing one of America's greatest pastimes, and give a runway for companies like BlackRock to achieve global domination. The same thing that made BlackRock wealthy made your dollar worth less. But did Peterson secretly know what he was doing, or is he simply on the right financial side of an inflationary accident? Regardless of what you believe, Peterson and companies like BlackRock are one of the reasons everything is expensive.
Inflation robs every American. Your wage increases were completely eaten up by price increase. Your paychecks were higher, but you were no better off. We have made progress against the rise in the cost of living.
Now, cost of living adjustments continue to happen, but the inflation goes up, so it's like, no, the problem and the ratio just keeps separating more and more and more and more. The middle class is growing, the lower class is growing, and the 10% and the 1%ers are the only people that hold the money. 74% of the money is in the 10%'s hands. Hey, we're only working with 24% here. Come on now. Damn it, they got us tricked since the very beginning. I didn't even know. And there were other people I recognized in Blackstone there before BlackRock was found.
Starbucks is being sued in a massive class action for false advertising. Because you know what's not in the mango dragon fruit drink? Mango. The pineapple passion fruit? No passion fruit. And my favorite, the strawberry acai. No acai. All of these are mainly just water, grape juice concentrate, and sugar. So Starbucks just went in front of a judge to try to get this whole case dismissed. They said no reasonable consumer would expect these drinks to contain the ingredients that are in their names. Sidebar, I was confused, were you? Well, the judge looked at both arguments and sided with us. It wasn't unreasonable for us to expect mango, passion fruit, and acai in drinks with those same names. He also said it's extra confusing because other Starbucks drinks really do have the ingredients in their name, like iced matcha tea latte, which has matcha, and honey citrus mint tea, which has honey and mint. So the class action is asking for money because we wouldn't have paid such high prices for these drinks if the fruit wasn't in them. Judge ruled our claims are reasonable. The lawsuit is moving forward. We're getting closer to a payday. And I'll keep you updated on any settlement.
Wait, so they don't have actual fruit? So all that fruit that we're tasting, the acai, the matcha, the passion fruit, it's just like, what, flavorings? Artificial? Oh my God, why are you doing this to us?
Wait, you're telling me there are fake towns in the middle of the Atlantic?
Yeah, listen to this. There's an island called Halcyon Ridge, completely hidden from the outside world, controlled by a private organization called Vanguard Initiative. Decades ago, they bought the island and turned it into one massive, twisted experiment. They built towns straight out of a 1950s postcard, perfect houses, white picket fences, happy neighbors. But it's all a lie.
The people living there?
They were either orphans raised in total isolation or, get this, grown from embryos in secret labs. From birth, they were brainwashed to believe that a global disaster wiped out the rest of the world. As far as they know, Halcyon Ridge is the only safe place left on Earth. If someone starts asking too many questions, Vanguard Initiative steps in fast, either reprogramming them or making them disappear altogether. And just so we're clear, this is all for entertainment purposes, right?
Man, I feel like I've seen a movie like this where like people that ask too many questions just start disappearing, and like what's that? I think like Stepford Wives? Get Out? I don't know. There's so many movies that feel like they have this thing. Oh boy. I mean, what do? Do you like go to the island and tell them no, there's actually more people alive, like they got you tricked, or do we even know the location of the island, or they don't tell us? Oh boy, we're gonna have to go on an expedition and find them and release them and be like, no, you were in a Truman Show the entire time. You didn't even know.
Fun but kind of disturbing fact: there's something called filial responsibility laws. 30 states in the U.S. have filial responsibility laws that obligate adult children to provide financial support for their parents' basic needs and medical care. When my mom passed away a year ago, it was an honor and a privilege to be able to take care of her as she was transitioning from this life to the next. She took care of me as a child and growing up and even into adulthood. So again, it was an honor and a privilege to be able to do that for her when she needed me. However, if you are abused or become estranged from your parent in any kind of way, the idea that you are obligated to them is wild. If your parent goes and kicks you out of the house at 15 years old and says, I'm not responsible for you, you're a bad kid, or kicks you out as soon as you turn 18, or makes you pay rent to live in their home, or won't pay for your food and groceries and basic needs, and makes your life a living hell growing up, I can't imagine having to be financially responsible for that kind of parent. If you don't do what you need to do as a parent when you chose to be a parent, why should I, as your child, have to do anything for you? I didn't choose this path. You did. We expect estranged children to take care of their elderly parent, medically fragile, and especially financially burdensome parents. And this is happening in 30 states. It would be so appreciated if any lawyers could comment to this and how you could get out of this if you have an abusive parent. That would be so helpful and appreciated.
I'm not sure, but I live in one of those states that that was on the list. So, but I'm ready if anything ever arises. I feel like that's the obligation you do. They brought me into the world, and I'm gonna make sure whatever needs to happen for their time, I will be there for support if needed. And I'm not estranged from my parents, so I can't relate to this. So, Interesting.
Did you hear they're gonna put ADHD people in isolated camps? We're going to camp? That's not gonna work out like they think it's gonna work out. Imagine like 75 me's and you's in a camp in an isolated environment together. Last time that happened, like Australia was founded or
Wait, the next time this happens, Goonland may be founded. Oh man, I can dream.
Picture this, it's 11 years ago, I'm in a massive university, intro psychology class. Everybody in my 250 person lecture is freaking out because it's the last class before the exams and none of us are ready. Professor says, you know what, you guys seem stressed. I'm just gonna give all of you a 95% blanket across the board, but you have to vote unanimously on it. He puts the poll on the board, we vote, 20 people say, nope, I don't want the guaranteed 95%. He puts another poll up that's just like, why? So option A is I selected the 95% because I want it. B, I think I could do better. C, I don't want a grade I didn't deserve. And D, I don't want somebody else to get the same grade as me, even if they didn't study as much. And all 20 people who didn't want the 95% didn't want it for that last reason. The professor said, this is the most important psychological lesson I will teach you this semester. I've been doing this experiment on classes for the past 10 years, and not one class has agreed unanimously, because there's always somebody who doesn't want someone to have what they have because they don't think they deserve it. Statistically, only 10 of you will get a 95% or above. Because in life, greed will always hurt you more than it helps you.
Man, I feel like the people that are getting the 95s and the 100s end up being like the follower bees, and they can't think for themselves. And it's the people that are in the 50s, 60s, and 70s or barely are the ones that are actually like, hey, how do I make, use of this timeline and get the things I want with the knowledge that I have that the system is telling me? And those are the guys that are actually breaking through and figuring out the things. But I'm not saying that, hey, a 90% guy cannot be awakened and break through the things. I just seen that usually the people that seem to be more awakened are the people that didn't excel in school. And I know it sounds crazy, but I'm sorry. Just look around. You think the smart ones agree with all this? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if I would have voted for everyone getting 95%. I kind of go back to like when I was watching Naruto, and then he passes the exam and he never filled out a single question and the entire class passes. That's amazing. We wouldn't even be Hokage if that didn't happen. Sorry, only a few of you guys are going to understand that. I watched Naruto Shippuden. Started watching Boruto. Sorry, this turned to something else. We're going to do 2 more.
This whole CIA document is just absolutely wild. There was this remote viewer. His task was to look up where the Galactic Federation headquarters is at. And he talks about the surroundings. It's on our world. There's these huge mountains, and then there's a giant lake. The guy says it seems a lot like Lake Titicaca in Peru. Okay. He entered this chamber, and in the middle of this room was this altar. And all of a sudden, from above, there was this white light, and there was a group of entities in white robes. He said it seemed very spiritual. He didn't know how to describe it. In 2000, Italian archaeologists discovered at the bottom of Lake Titicaca was this ancient temple that really matched up with the CIA document. It's also the highest lake in the world.
Well, there's significance to that. The Bible talks about how God was jealous for the attention of his people, or even just defending his own glory. So if there was this fallen angel civilization high in the mountains and like we're above destruction for like God to flood it and be like, you're not beyond my reach.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the takeaway? The temple did exist, so the guy's thing's right, everything in the writing's right. The CIA was actually tapped into something. Okay, what do we do with this now? We're gonna have to turn the temples and pyramids on. Oh boy, oh boy.
Please do not ban me for this. Can we expose the real reason why dinosaurs are not here today? I'm not taking any chances. So they said white dinosaurs are extinct because an asteroid hit the Earth. Well, my theory is that they were killed by the aliens. I mean, just hear me out. So these asteroids just hit directly all over the planet, killing all of the dinosaurs. It gotta be something else for me. You're telling me these asteroids hit all of the dinosaurs and they're all just went extinct? Well, I say them asteroids were actually missiles. I know you're probably like, why would aliens come kill the dinosaurs? And I could only think of human evolution. Now, in ancient Sumerian text, there is this group of deities called Anunnaki. It is said that they created humans, engineering our DNA and having advanced technology. You know, UFOs, all of that. It's gonna be hard to keep the humans alive while dinosaurs are surrounding the Earth. And I'm not just making this up, they have put these theories in movies. Prometheus and a Marvel one called The Eternals. Now, in the Marvel movie, they were supposed to upgrade humanity's consciousness to a very high vibration and destroy the planet. Same thing in Prometheus. Now, there has been talk about dinosaurs being on the center of the Earth also. You know, Hollow Earth theory, where China found an underground forest. If you've ever watched the movie Journey to the Center of the Earth, they went there and they saw dinosaurs. Now, if you don't believe me, it's fine. But the government has told us that they spotted UFOs, they know that higher beings exist, and all of that. So did this Anunnaki group, or aliens, whatever you want to call them, missiled off the dinosaurs for the evolvement of humans? It's just kind of hard to believe the destruction of dinosaurs came from asteroids. I mean, they already showed us in the movie Jurassic World how it is living with dinosaurs. We wouldn't be able to survive, so they had to get off the planet. Or go someplace where we're not there. I mean, they all can't be extinct. But let me know what y'all think. Stay dangerous.
I believe the asteroid impact is a theory, and it very well could be an ancient civilization that actually started our species. We need to get that time machine. That's going to be the only way. And in some other weird timeline, we probably were living with the dinosaurs, and we had them tamed, and they were doing all the things just like the Flintstones. You don't know. You don't know. We're in that weird Jetsons universe where everything's gone. And then, they get nuked. And then now we got people that are in the Jetsons universe and got people that are in the Flintstones universe. And I'm here stuck watching both universes because I'm the observer. Sorry. Hey, there was a lot. I understand. Teddy, I don't know. Oh, man, this camera just died. Oh, no. Oh, no. All right. Well, we'll work with that. Hey. Sometimes things happen and the camera just died. But guess what? We made it to the end, and that's what's most important. I'm going to be stuck here spiraling and hoping that I got a lot of the footage recorded and the camera died just near the end, and that's all I missed. But hopefully we can salvage this. Guys, there should be videos on the screen right now. Click on either one of them to continue the Goon Fix. The one in the middle, you can subscribe. I'm going to go check out this camera that just died. I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.